Hey everyone, my name's Adam Archer, and today we're going to be taking a look at something very special. It is an original Italian-made Guardfather spike. Now these were made and banned in the 1980s. They were sold out of primarily out of magazines such as Soldier of Fortune, out of advertisements such as this, where you would send in $30 and they would ship you one of these Guardfather spikes. Now, the company was Bryg's, which was a subsidiary of Bingham, which I think Bingham was popular for their Devastator and Exploder ammunition, which were rounds that had a little explosive charge in the tip that exploded that got them in trouble with the ATF. But the reason these were banned is, I believe, also from the ATF, claiming that they were switchblades under the Federal Switchblade Act, where they were not legally allowed to be shipped over state lines. Now, the Federal Switchblade Act is still around, but I believe the claim is that it has not been enforced since 2010, so the courts will not look into the constitutionality of that law. At least that's what I've read from Knife Rights. So we'll not talk about that too much, but let's take a look at the Guardfather spike. So this is made out of a hardened steel, and let's zoom in a little bit so you can see the details of this. It is incredibly well made. So you can see patent pending on this side, made in Italy on this side. There are rumors that this was made by Beretta, which would not surprise me as the detail is fantastic. This is deployed using the pocket clip. You just push down on that and the spike fires out. That is a hardened steel spike. Very pointy. And it has a little lock right there. So push down on that, lets the spike retract, and it's not actually compressing the spring until about a 1/4 inch of the way. Then you push it against something hard. I'm going to use just this note, what are they called? Sticky notes. Push down, and it locks it back in place. Now, there is no safety. I believe there were some competitors to this that did feature a safety. I have not seen an actual representation of that. I've seen an advertisement, but I've never seen the true thing. So if you happen to have one, let me know. Would love to see pictures of it or any other competitors to the Guardfather spike. Now, there are some modern remakes of it. Well, if you talk about the Guardfather, this is what the current Guardfather is. It's not under the same brand. It's under, I think these are made in China, where it has just a little button, a little plunge lock, and it fires out a spike. That is nothing like what the original Guardfather spikes were. Right here. This one is incredible quality. This one is Chinese. It's lower quality, but it's somewhat of the same idea. It's a pocket spike. Now, there are, I think this is called the Inner City Defense Pencil. This is made out of a lead holder, a Koh-i-Noor lead holder. Again, not that high quality. You can see, fires out the spike. Much thinner spike, and with this you can actually, without depressing any lock, you can actually just push that back in. And when it is all the way in, sometimes if you tap it on your hand it starts deploying. So not very high quality on that one. Fred Perrin makes a pencil spike that does not have a spring in it. So basically, you push down. This is a lead holder by Bic, the Centurion. that he has added a spike to. This is much more sturdy. It's not going to push back in on you. And then you can actually write with it since it has lead in front. And then I've kind of made my own interpretation of that and added a spring into it. You can see that. So this is a longer spike. This is also very sturdy, doesn't push back into the handle, and as I mentioned, it does feature a spring. And one of the things I've learned is that I can actually take that spring and add it onto the Fred Perrin. Just slide that in the back like that. And I would need to shorten the lead on there, but there we go. Turns that into a little miniature version. But this video is not on those pins, it is on the Guardfather spike, so I apologize for getting off topic a little bit. Very nice spike on this. A little bit of blade play in and out, and that's just due to the feature of the lock. Very sturdy though overall. I wish I could remember. There was one knife maker / repairer that has actually taken one of these, and I haven't seen pictures of it, but from what he said, some states require a sub 2-inch blade, such as California, so they chopped it so that it would be under 2 inches and actually chopped down the handle so that it would allow for a 2-inch long spike, which is very neat. It does take a decent amount of force to compress that, so that's why it launches out with a good amount of pressure, even though it is not that long of a spring. Talking about the length of the spring, we can unscrew this cap and actually see that. So just unscrew that here, and you can see there's a spring there. Very stiff spring. Put that back in and screw that tip or that cap back on. There's the little sear spring or sear that releases the spike. Overall, it's very simple but well made. And by simple, I mean there's not that many parts. I think there's a reason why they're not really being reproduced now. I think they're hard to duplicate. Very well made knurling on there, super grippy. I mean, it looks like a pencil or a pen. But then you just press down on that and it launches out a nice spike. So let's show that firing one more time. And I mean, you can just hold it like a pencil and then basically squeeze down. Zoom out so you actually see that firing. You can see how hard it fires. Just a very cool piece. And yeah, since they were banned in the 80s, or they went out of business in the 80s after getting in trouble with the government, I think it was a combination of both the ATF going after them for this, as well as their exploder rounds, that they probably just closed up shop. But I am searching for information, so if you happen to have any other pin spikes similar to this, please let me know. If you happen to have any information on when they closed their auction, like any newspaper clippings or anything like that talking about the auction that they had of selling all their old inventory. I heard they had like hundreds of these just auctioned off when they were closing. Or I don't know if it was hundreds, but I know they had some of these, some of the other things they sold. I'd love to get some of that history, as due to the fact that it was in the 80s, it is very difficult to find any information online. But would love to learn more. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing this. Let me just continue zooming in. I know some people want to see what this looks like in detail, as they are difficult to find in person. And I know people are going to ask, where can you buy one of these? The only place that I really see them show up is Arizona Custom, and they are expensive on there. I did pay up for this, but I did not pay the Arizona Custom price, although I paid more than I wanted to, I will admit. And let's take a look at that paper again, that paperwork. And we have basically the care instructions on the back, the maintenance. So there you go. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and bye. Oh, the packaging this came in, very high end, little plastic bag.